into math lesson 11.3, interpret and solve division of a whole number by a unit fraction. I then create a story context for a given equation and use the visual fraction model to represent the quotient. Step it out. What problem can be solved by finding the number of 1/4 size parts in 4 wholes? What can be the 4 wholes? So the 4 wholes, if we were doing like a word problem, we could say those would be the length 4 boards, okay? 4 full size boards. Okay, so today it's probably going to be a lot of, we'll have it paused, we'll write it, and then record it, okay? So letter B, what can be the 1/4 size parts in a whole? How many pieces each board was cut into? Write a problem that can be solved by finding the number of 1/4 size parts in 4 wholes. How many 1/4 foot boards can we get from 4 1-foot boards? And then we drew our number line and we went from 0 to 4. And then we broke that into 4 whole sections. And then of those whole sections, we broke those into 4 size pieces. And then on letter E, we did an equation of 4 divided by 1/4 equals 4 over 1 times, or we did 4 divided by 1/4, which equals 4 over 1 times 4 over 1, which equals 16 over 1, which then gets us 16 1/4 foot board. Step it out. Number 2, write a word problem that can be modeled by t equals 5 divided by 1/3. Then solve the problem using a visual fraction model. All right, so letter A, it says write a word problem that can be modeled by the division equation. So we said we have 5 loaves of bread and divide each loaf into 1/3 size pieces. How many total pieces do we have now? So then we did our visual model. We did 5 congruent rectangles for our whole, and then divided those 5 rectangles into 3 pieces each, and we got a total of 15 pieces then. So then to check ourselves for letter C, what is the quotient and what does it represent in the context of your problem? We did a division equation, we went back to it. We took 5 divided by 1/3, which equals 5 over 1 times 3 over 1, which equals 15 over 1, which then equals 15 simplified. And we said our answer is 15 1/3 size pieces of bread. Check for understanding. Write and solve a word problem for the visual fraction model. Okay, so for number 1, the question that we came up with was we have 3 large pieces cut into 1/8 size pieces. How many total pieces do we have? So over to the side, we worked our equation. 3 divided by 1/8, which equals 3 over 1 times 8 over 1, which equals 24 over 1. So we had 24 1/8 size pieces of pizza. Okay. We had a total. It was broken into more pieces, so that meant we had to divide, and then we got our quotient. The next one, number 2, write and solve a word problem that can be modeled by r equals 8 divided by 1/10. So we said Jeff had 8 that should be rectangular. So we need the y after there. Okay. He divided each cake into 1/10 size pieces. How many 1/10 size pieces did he have altogether? So we worked it out then over to the side. So 8 divided by 1/10 equals 8 over 1 times 10 over 1, which equals 80 over 1, which then in return equals 80 1/10 size pieces of cake. And then we need to get rid of regular. All right, for number 3, we said for our word problem that Jim has 5 jumbo cupcakes and splits them into 1/6 size pieces to enjoy daily. How many days will Jim get a piece of cupcake? So we took 5 divided by 1/6, which equals 5 over 1 times 6 over 1, which equals 30 over 1, which says he will get to have a cupcake for 30 days. Number 4, Reason, Harry has 2 pounds of sculpting clay. He divides the clay into 1 16-pound block. Can this situation be modeled by 16 divided by 1/2 equals B and by 2 divided by 1/16 equals B? Explain. Both would not work, only the second equation, because the total amount of sculpting clay is 2 pounds, so that's what we need as the dividend, and 1/16 would need to be the divisor. Number 5, model and with mathematics. Write and solve a word problem that can be modeled by K equals 13 divided by 1/10. Some friends were going to run in a 13-mile race. There were markers along the trail at every 1/10 of a mile. How many markers are there along the trail? So we then took 13 divided by 1/10, which equals 13 over 1, times 10 over 1, which equals 130 over 1, which meant there were 130 markers along the trail. Number 6, use the visual model to write and solve a division word problem. So the division problem we came up with was 6 divided by 1/5 equals P. Our word problem was we have 6 granola bars and each one is broken into 1/5 size pieces. How many total pieces do we have? And then it says describe what the quotient means in the context of your problem. So we went ahead and worked it out. So 6 divided by 1/5 equals 6 over 1 times 5 over 1, which equals 30 over 1. So we had that there would be 30 1/5 size pieces of granola bar. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this page, and we're just going to go ahead and mark that off. We've been doing several of those.